We can have a nice night out. Me, you and Bernie.
I don't need a night out.
Then just let me go back and get your stuff.
No, I don't need any of that.
Then you don't have to see that cheating scumbag again, Mark.
Okay.
Next week on Eastenders brings a roller coaster of drama. Ben faces arrest on Callum's birthday, Jean suspects Dean's lies, and Ivani plays matchmaker for her parents. Meanwhile, Whitney's return stirs up trouble, Denzel's secrets unravel, and Priya's history with Ravi resurfaces. Romances are tested, confrontations ignite, and baby bombshells loom. 10 EastEnders secrets for next week include Whitney's homecoming, Ben getting into trouble, and Jean's suspicions rising. Is Ben in serious danger? Next week's EastEnders spoilers include Ben's grim future, Whitney and Zach hiding secrets from one another, and Jean becoming suspicious of Dean's activities. EastEnders spoilers include all of this and more. Spoilers for EastEnders 1. According to teasers for EastEnders, Callum's worst birthday ever. Callum is attempting to maintain his positive attitude despite Ben's obvious lack of birthday plans. But there is still hope. Ben tries to surprise his hubby with a party after some coercion from Jay and Lexi and some romance advice from his dad, Phil. Yes, really. Ben appears to have saved the day, and Callum is moved by it. However, when the police show up and take Ben into custody, everything goes horribly wrong. 2. When Jean learns the truth, she is concerned that Jade isn't well enough to return home and is astonished to see the adolescent back in the square so soon after her hospital stay. Dean grants an interview request from a Walford Gazette reporter, leaving Jean in charge of Jade's care. However, Johnny's interruption and offer to provide the reporter with a character reference regarding Dean throws the interview off course. Oh no. Jean is committed to learning the truth about what has been happening in the apartment. When she finds out Dean lied, she uncovers the empty pill packages and presses Jade about who has been giving her medication. Dean enters as they are about to leave, despite her best efforts to get Jade to accompany her home. And in his signature manipulative style, he succeeds in assigning Jean sole responsibility. 3. Ivani facilitates marriages. Ivani skips class and makes an attempt, but is unable, to provide a good excuse for her absence. When Priya receives a text from school informing her that Ivani isn't there, she is enjoying some flirtatious banter with Martin in the meanwhile. Together, she and Martin set out to discover the lost girl on the playground by tracking her down. When Ivani notices that her father, Ravi, is envious that Martin is present, she finds it funny. Later, she tells Nugget that she wants to reconcile her parents. Ivani, therefore, has other plans when Priya asks Martin out on a date. She pretends to be a matchmaker, informing her father that Priya is not good. Ox. The two males show up to the house simultaneously. When Martin leaves after getting the wrong impression, Priya becomes irritated with her daughter. However, Ravi comes to Priya's rescue by persuading her to go on a date with Martin at Walford East. She also struck it off with Martin at the restaurant. 4. Whitney, welcome home. Zach convinces Penny and Lauren to throw Whitney a welcome home baby shower at the Vic. However, Lauren notices that he's uncomfortable, so she goes to his to make things right. When she swears not to talk about the pass he made at her, Zach is relieved. Brittany is with Whitney when she arrives, so she is not alone. Zach becomes enraged as the young child declares that Whit is her new foster mother and Whitney verifies that it is real. 5. Denzel is having issues. When Denzel decides to go to the gym rather than spend time with Amy, she gets irritated with him. He loses his fury as she gives him a lecture about his fixation with fitness. He does, however, feel bad about it, at least initially. Then he receives a text notifying him that his argument with Amy has been forgotten and that his steroids are being delivered today. 6. Not guilty unless and until proven? As information about a previous crime begins to surface at the Walford police station, Ben is sure that he is innocent. As tensions between Phil and Kathy grow at home, Phil eventually telephones Richie to ask for assistance. But before long, a dispute breaks out. In the midst of the row, Lexi returns home and demands to know all the details. Later, Lexi is also present when Richie comes to talk to Phil because she wants to know the truth and is determined to be included. Phil receives a call from Ben that evening with a request. 7. Constructing bridges? In an attempt to assist Whitney and Zach in getting their life back on track, Lauren volunteers to take care of Brittany. However, she doesn't take long to start stirring up trouble in the square. Whit and Zach are also at odds when they get home to discover that their new baby's crib has already been assembled. Zach departs as Lauren and Brittany enter. Lauren and Whitney are having a heart-to-heart. Can they settle the score when Zach gets home and is ready to talk? More spoilers for Eastenders. 8. Arguments. Jay and Lexi pay Ben, who remains at the police station, a visit. But when things get difficult, Lexi makes the decision that she wants to go. Callum, meantime, is having difficulties as well and talks with his father-in-law, Phil, about what to do. Callum is urged by Phil to give Ben another chance. Kathy, however, is dubious of Phil's intentions and goes to the Mitchell residence to speak with him. 9. Lies and truth. Denzel is reluctant to talk, but Yolanda is determined to find out what's bothering him. But Yolanda determines he needs to start talking to her if he wants to obtain his package from her. Denzel and Nugget later reconcile. However, Yolanda and Nugget's conversation in the laundry is cut short when in the taxi office, Kat notices Denzel stealing his package from Yolanda's bag. I apologize. 10. Little bombshells. Whitney is informed by Lauren that she must tell Zach the truth about what she did, but they are stopped in their tracks by Peter and his companion as they head to the Albert for Lauren's birthday celebration. Lauren realizes she has been a little harsh on Whitney after speaking with Chelsea. Whit's promise to tell Zach the truth makes her happy. What will Zach's response be? A behind-the-scenes look at the Ravi and Priya twist revealed by BBC EastEnders cast suggests that a vast history may be addressed. The entire history between Priya Nandrahart and her ex-husband Ravi Gulati is still unknown to EastEnders viewers, as Priya is rumored to be seeing another Walford resident. Fans of the BBC soap opera EastEnders may witness a former couple's romance grow in upcoming scenes. Since fans still don't know a lot about Ravi Gulati and Priya Nandrahart's previous romance, it may be time to finally look into their past. Viewers are aware, of course, that Priya became pregnant with their son Nugget years ago when they were dating. Even though Ravi was originally opposed to keeping the child, they made the decision to move forward, only for Ranveer, Ravi's adoptive father, to intimidate her. He told Priya to leave her little son and Ravi behind, putting her life in danger, and he sent her packing, wanting her out of the way. Ravi was unaware that this was the reason behind her departure, nor that she was expecting his daughter until their reunion a year prior. After meeting his kid Avani in secret last year, Ravi and Priya appear to be getting along at last. Is a reconciliation between Priya and Martin Fowler feasible in light of Priya's potential new romance? The pair's actors, Aaron Thiara and Sophie Conlevy, hinted that there might be more in store for their former flames in an interview with The Mirror from last month. They discussed how the soap opera will delve into their past and romance, hinting at the possibility of a reconciliation. When we asked Sophie about their getting back together, she said, "We haven't seen much of their relationship and there's a huge history, it's definitely there." Aaron went on, "As a fan, there's a certain degree of interest about them that isn't there, so it would be a lot of fun if we carefully unearthed and unpacked that history and gave the fans that thrill." A few months back, there was an instance involving Ravi when Priya flirted with Nish. Since they weren't together, Ravi waved it off, saying, "She's her own lady, do what you want." He might respond differently if the situation did become better. Aaron also hinted that Ravi and Priya had unfinished business that needed to be addressed. It happens while Priya is enjoying getting to know Martin and Avani is about to see her father's jealousy in approaching episodes. She devises a scheme that could cause problems for Priya and her potential new partner. The teenager quickly makes it clear that she wants her parents to reconcile, but will this happen? Please subscribe our channel. Ben Mitchell and Callum Highway's world is thrown into chaos as Ben faces arrest after organizing a surprise birthday party. Meanwhile, Priya juggles romantic interests, and EastEnders fans express outrage over Dean Wick's villainous behavior, sparking calls for his removal from the show. Max Bowden leaves EastEnders, leaving Ben Mitchell and Callum Highway's lives completely wrecked by crime. Ben Mitchell, who planned a surprise birthday party for Callum Highway, might spend the rest of his life behind prison in EastEnders if he is nabbed the following week. Since the adored mechanic hasn't planned to celebrate his husband's birthday, Jay Brown and Lexi Pierce get into action and urge Ben to do so. Even Phil joins in, giving his son some advice on romance, and Ben then chooses to throw a party in Callum's honor. The festivities commence, with Ben feeling glad that calamity has been avoided and Callum being sincerely moved by the gesture. He has no idea, though, of what's about to happen. Ben Mitchell, who planned a surprise birthday party for Callum Highway, might spend the rest of his life behind prison in Eastenders if he is nabbed the following week. Since the adored mechanic hasn't planned to celebrate his husband's birthday, Jay Brown and Lexi Pierce get into action and urge Ben to do so. Even Phil joins in, giving his son some advice on romance, and Ben then chooses to throw a party in Callum's honor. The festivities commence, with Ben feeling glad that calamity has been avoided and Callum being sincerely moved by the gesture. He has no idea, though, of what's about to happen. When the police show up at the Vic, they take Ben into custody and bring him to the station. When information about a prior crime surface, Ben quickly asserts his innocence while being detained at the Walford police station. As Jay, Phil, and Kathy Beale figure out what to do back home, there's a lot of tension. Phil even gets Richie Scott involved in the investigation. When Lexi gets home, the family is having a furious dispute, and she demands to know the truth. Ben, in the meantime, calls Phil and makes a really unusual request for his father. When Jay takes Lexi to see Ben at the police station later in the week, things don't go as planned. Lexi becomes agitated and decides to leave. Callum and Phil have a heart-to-heart back in the square. Phil urges Callum to give his hubby another chance even if he is reluctant to see Ben. Kathy, on the other hand, starts to have doubts about Phil and doesn't hesitate to confront him. But will she be able to gain the information she needs? It remains to be known, but as the week draws to a close, Callum takes advantage of his career while the Mitchell clan struggles to deal with Ben's arrest's aftermath. Is there any chance it will help him? Would he be jeopardizing his professional life to prevent his spouse from going to jail? All you have to do is listen to find out. A representative for Eastenders revealed to metro.co.uk earlier this year that Max Bowden is departing the show after 5 years, so it appears that the plot in question will function as Ben's departure. Spoilers for Eastenders: a tense battle for Priya Nandrahart between Martin Fowler and Ravi Gulati leads to a romantic clash. Priya Nandrahart's next scenes on Eastenders will feature romance, as she gets to choose between two different guys. Priya and Martin Fowler start a flirtatious chat after Priya's date, but their talk is cut short when Priya receives a text from Avani's school saying that Avani is missing. Martin and Priya discover the mischievous teenager at the playground after starting their search right away. Avani is amused by Ravi Gulati's overt envy of Martin and Priya's intimacy when he shows up, and she quickly confides in Brother Nugget about her scheme to reconcile their parents. When Avani finds out shortly after that Priya has asked Martin out again, she believes it's time to act as a matchmaker between Ravi and Priya. Ravi goes to the house as Avani pretends to be unhappy because Priya is sick, and he is taken aback when Martin shows up at the same moment. Martin gets the wrong idea after seeing Ravi and leaves, leaving Priya angry at her daughter's interference. Before Ravi pushes Priya to ask Martin out on a date in Walford East, Priya and Ravi swiftly rebuke Avani for her behavior. When he accepts, she is overjoyed, and they click at the restaurant. But Avani isn't done meddling. She quickly stirs up trouble and ruins their date by spilling wine down Martin's lap. When he accepts, she is overjoyed, and they click at the restaurant. But Avani isn't done meddling. She quickly stirs up trouble and ruins their date by spilling wine down Martin's lap. Quadrate fans of Eastenders furiously exclaim, "Makes my skin crawl," and vow to quit the soap opera due to a revolting character. Do soap opera executives now go too far? One monster in Albert Square has finally worn out the viewers because, in a horrible act, he targets his own flesh and blood. Recently, viewers of Eastenders have gone to social media to implore the show's executives to fire the devious character. In late 2023, Matt D'Angelo returned to Albert Square, this time as rapist Dean Wicks, in time for Halloween. However, Linda Carter Dean descended to a new low by blackmailing her into making a false confession, shocking a great number of BBC One viewers. With threats to put George Knight in jail, Dean was able to pressure Linda into admitting he had never raped her. As Dean made contact with his long-lost daughter Jade Green, viewers of the soap opera witnessed a more compassionate side of him. But just when fans thought they had seen his worst side, Dean showed them that he will stop at nothing to achieve his goals. Recent moments on the London-based show featured Dean refusing to say goodbye to his daughter Jade, who disclosed that she would be moving to Pakistan after receiving a lung transplant. Dean has been tampering with her antibiotics, which she is taking while recovering from her procedure, since he is determined to be a significant part of her life. Fans became enraged yesterday night as the plot progressed and they resorted to X, the former name for Twitter. Several loyal followers of the long-running show have begged the soap opera executives to fire Dean because they find it impossible to see how truly nasty he may be. Meanwhile, some have called Dean's most recent ruse revolting and gone so far as to threaten to boycott Eastenders. "I swear they better get rid of Dean soon or I'm switching off. I cannot watch him anymore. Literally makes my skin crawl when he's on the screen," argued one of them. Another said, "Dean has to be severely injured and placed in a coma right away. I'm tired of him staring at my screen. It's disgusting how the Dean plot makes his own daughter ill. There are just too many parts that I have to pass over," said a third viewer. Many viewers of the soap opera have expressed their hopes that one legend could visit Walford and give the character a well-earned lesson as long as Dean's shenanigans continue. They said Shirley Carter, Dean's tough mother, might be able to stop him from continuing his nefarious schemes, just as she had stopped him when he attempted to rape Roxy Mitchell. Following the disappearance of her other son Mick at sea, Linda Henry's Shirley fled Albert Square. Fans have been eager to see Shirley return because it was claimed that her 2022 exit was not definitive. According to a different notion, Johnny Carter, Linda's son, might be the one to get rid of Dean. However, what will actually happen? Will Dean ever face his just desserts? Can he ever come to his senses? Please subscribe our channel.